best known for her role opposite Queen Latifah in Steel Magnolias, as well as playing the troubled teen in the edgy Sundance drama, make sure I get it right.
Pariah.
Pariah, okay, make sure I get it. Pariah, our next guest has just made a Broadway debut in a quite star-studded show.
That's right. She's now sharing the stage with the likes of Cicely Tyson, Cuba Gooding Jr., and Vanessa Williams in the popular play, The Trip to Bountiful. Adepero Oduye, welcome to Arise Entertainment 360. So happy to have you.
It's an absolute pleasure to be here. I love Arise.
Well,
Your star is just booming. It's just shooting out of the sky, doing so well. How are you enjoying and feeling about all of this?
I just try to tell myself to stay present as much as possible and enjoy the moments, like enjoy all the firsts and not get too far ahead of myself and get anxious and freak out. And yeah, that's what I do, just stay in the moment as much as possible.
Well, here's a picture of your character. Now tell us a little bit about the play, The Trip to Bountiful, for those that don't know, and about your character, Thelma.
Yeah, it's basically it's about a woman played by Miss Tyson, her journey to get back home to her hometown. And Thelma is the character I play. It's her is a woman that she meets along her journey. I'm trying to get back home.
Yeah. How did you get the part?
I just got a call saying, "Hey, do you want to do this?" And I know Michael Wilson, the director, because we worked together back in Connecticut when I was doing regional theater.
Okay.
What attracted you to the role?
To work with Miss Tyson. That was pretty much, that was a no-brainer.
Right. Well, you know, Condola Rashad played the role Thelma before you, and then she just left recently to go prepare for Romeo and Juliet on Broadway, along with Orlando Bloom. So, did you feel any pressure to like fill her shoes or to like jump into that character?
No, not at all. I mean, Condola and I are friends, and so I don't know. I just felt like it felt right coming in after she did it, just because we talk and we talked about the journey of the play for her, and so no pressure at all. Yeah, I was just thankful for the opportunity.
And you're on stage with such a venerable group of actors and actresses, from Cicely Tyson, Cuba Gooding Jr., Academy Award winner, Vanessa Williams. What has that experience been like, and are there things that they're kind of teaching you based on their own experiences?
I think the thing that stands out is how they've been supportive. They've, been there for me and saying if I need any help, or if I need anything from them, from all of them, and just really great energy, giving, generous people. And so it's just always nice to see people who are who've been doing this for a while, and they're awesome people. And so I think what I've learned is that you can still, be in it for a while and still be, personable,
down to earth.
Down to earth, yeah.
I think that is fascinating, because I think for those of us who are not directly connected to the entertainment community, we might have some preconceived notions about how actors and performers interact with one another.
Oh yeah. No, I think for me, my experience thus far has been one of just being around actors who are very generous. I'm sure, I know there are other sides, and and I've experienced that. People are kind of like catty or competitive, but my experience personally has been, being around a lot of actors, especially older actors, who just take you under your wing and give you advice, and are just so giving and generous. And that's how I choose to approach it as well. So it's nice to be around people.
Is there any specific advice that stands out that one of them gave you recently when you came to the show? That's a tough question, right?
It's a tough question. It's just always encouraging. Like, they just, Miss Tyson's always like, good job. You
nailed it. Right.
So
that's enough, right? That's
like, she touched me.
Well, The Trip to Bountiful has received every theater award out there. What do you think it is about this play that resonates with audiences?
I think primarily it is the fact that you get to see Miss Tyson in this amazing role. She's in it from top to bottom. And I think also, too, a lot of people can relate to the idea of home, Either you don't have a home, or you're missing home, or you're far away from home, or you're trying to get back home. And that's something that cuts across, color, ages. I think that's primarily why people really gravitate towards the play.
And audiences are seeing you on so many different platforms, whether it's in the theater, whether it's on television, whether it's film. Is there any one area that you're most at home?
It's a good question. People always ask me that. I started acting because I wanted to do film, and so I think film is maybe really close to my heart, but both theater and acting, theater and film are amazing in their own separate ways. And so, I don't know, it's hard to pick. But if I had to pick one, I would say film, just because that's the reason why I became an actor. I started acting.
And you
multi-talented?
Right.
Nothing wrong
Definitely.
with that.
Right. And you were on stage before at the Yale Repertory Company and then at Harvard. I mean, you've been on a lot of different places, but what makes this appearance on Broadway different from other stage performances that you've done?
It's Broadway.
Right.
It's like just the bigness of
It's
Broadway.
not the school theater.
No, it's not like that little rinky-dink black box theater where, you're doing like some really avant-garde, crazy theater. And also too, it's being able to be in theater in New York, which is, where I live and I grew up. So and I haven't been in theater in New York in a while. And so that is also another, I don't know, it's just nice to be at home and to walk to the theater and be on stage.
Right.
And this role, too, is a huge departure from your role, for example, in Pariah, where you played a troubled teenager. Talk a little bit about how you were able to land that role and also what attracted you to that character.
Well, I submitted myself for Pariah to be an extra. I saw the posting for it and I thought, oh my God, this is going to be an amazing project. I just want to be a part of it. And so I thought I was going to be, I just wanted to be an extra, and I got the call from Dee, the director, to come in to audition and for the lead. And so I got the role, and it was a chance for me to really explore myself as an actor, to really I guess show my chops. It was the first time I was able to do, to have a lead in a film, and so.
How challenging was it to portray that character?
Right.
It was challenging in the sense of having to be in a very vulnerable place that a lot of us experience when we're younger, or maybe not so young. So the challenging part was to continually stay open, to be in that space that Alike was in.
Well, I know Meryl Streep was very impressed with your work, and she's even publicly said so. How does it feel to be recognized by such a legendary actress?
It still makes me it's so crazy. I admire Meryl Streep so much, and the fact that I couldn't really wrap my head around the fact that she actually saw this film. It just really, it's probably one of the most shocking things that's ever happened to me in my life, and I'm honored and flabbergasted, and yeah.
It's a compliment that you will
Gladly.
over and over again. Gladly accept that compliment from Meryl Streep. Adepero, your family, your parents are from Nigeria, and I understand that typically Nigerian parents might be considered conservative when it comes to the goals or ambitions that they want their children to pursue. Were they supportive in you pursuing this path as opposed to, say, a doctor or lawyer or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, the goal for me was to be a doctor, and so I wanted to be a doctor since I was 4 years old. And when I graduated from college, I knew I wasn't going to go to med school anymore because my father had passed away in the middle of college. And so I knew I wasn't going to do that. And my mom, when I told her I wanted to be an actor, that I was going to be an actor, it was like a shock slap in the face. And so, your parents, that my parents came to this country and want your kids to be comfortable, have a good job. And I think instinctively she knew that it would be a very, very challenging road. And so I think that's what that was the primary worry. But now, I think the more things she's seen me in, she just wants me to be happy.
And now you're getting compliments from Meryl Streep. And you're working alongside Cicely Tyson. She's probably all good.
I knew it all along. It's going to work.
She's your biggest cheerleader.
She's just like, oh, fly high, just be happy. I'm supposed to be happy.
Now you can be happy.
Right now. Well, although your parents are from Nigeria, you were actually raised in New York, but you say when you go back to Nigeria to visit your mother, you feel like you're leaving New York a Nigerian and going to Nigeria as an American. Explain that a little bit.
Yeah, I grew up, 7 of us in my family, 7 siblings, and we grew up in a house that was very Nigerian. And my father, it was like little Nigeria in our house in the midst of Sunset Park, Brooklyn, which was very diverse. And so I identify strongly with my Nigerianness, all of it. And so it was interesting going back to Nigeria the last time as an adult and feeling at home, but noticing that people are looking at me like, oh, where are you from? You don't, what? And feeling that I stood out. And that was very interesting. It's not something that I struggle with personally because I know who I am, and I'm very clear about it. But it was just really interesting. I never felt American, so American than I did when I was in Nigeria last, and that was interesting because I don't feel very American here.
Right.
So.
I understand how you feel. My family's from Jamaica, and when I'm in Jamaica, I'm referred to as the Jamaican, you know?
Jamaican.
Yeah,
Wow.
so there is a certain kind of uneasiness, if you will.
Because I stand out, like,
Yeah.
you know, just the way in terms of where my clothes, wear my hair, like they can just clearly, I've not been living here for some time,
We can't let you go without talking about Steel Magnolias as well. I mean, that was a phenomenal film, and you have to talk about Queen Latifah. What was that like? But also just the making of that film, too.
And again, it was another surreal experience of working with all these amazing women who I've known in one shape, you know, one way or another. It was just, I couldn't believe that I was in the company of all those women. And again, women who are down to earth and so generous and so giving and funny. And it was an absolute blast to be a part of that experience. Absolute blast.
And then besides acting, you're also starting to write and do some other things, directing yourself. What are some of the projects that you're working on coming up?
Right now, I'm working on a stop and frisk project, a photo project, as well as a short narrative script that I wrote based on my little brother's first time getting stopped when he was 15. And so it's funny, I've been working on it for a while, but it's pretty timely because a lot of things are coming out in regards to that. And
a lot of people will be able to identify and really relate to that experience. No doubt.
So we've just been talking, a bunch of my friends and I collaborating and talking to men on the street and taking photo portraits. Daniel Patterson is an amazing photographer who's helping with that. And yeah, that's what's on tap right now. But I look forward to doing more writing and directing.
And real quick, before we leave, you got to tell us about the upcoming film, 12 Years a Slave, and when can we see it?
October 18th, it comes out in theaters, and I got to work with Steve McQueen.
Enough said.
It all.
Right, enough said.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll be looking forward to seeing you in that, your own projects, as well as the trip to Bountiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here.
This is Arise Entertainment 360.
All right, let's take the next young lady.
Great job.